hours after the race. The penalty was finally announced, and Doriane Pin is the winner. But she had already been in the podium. She already took in a second place trophy. All the social media posts, congratulations on second place, and then updated to promoted to the win. But we've missed out on essentially, those podium finishes. And this has spanned not just F4, but F3, F2, F1, Formula E, any series in the FIA. So I got to ask you, how frustrating is this for fans for the series to essentially miss out on having that Doriane Pin on the top step of the podium coverage, especially for media outlets that may not regularly follow F4 UAE competition or any Formula 4 series?
Yeah, Joe, it's got to be incredibly frustrating. And I still remember joking with my friends back in 2019, only Carlos Sainz could get a podium without it being shown on TV because of how well he was running for McLaren at the time, but how little coverage the world feed was showing. And then he finally has this strong run in Brazil, gets promoted to the podium, and they make the decision to penalize Lewis Hamilton far too late for him to be able to fully celebrate and enjoy that podium experience. If it's something like what happens in NASCAR where, a driver goes straight to victory lane like Denny Hamlin did at Pocono, and, you find with him and his then teammate at Gibbs, Kyle Busch, in post-race inspection that something was wrong with their cars in technical inspection, which takes, roughly 90 minutes to 2 hours to go through. That's one thing. If it's something like jumping the start, if it's something like avoidable contact where a 5-second penalty, it's not a matter of time or inspecting the video footage, in depth like you are a part on a race car in technical inspection. I think that decision has to be made immediately. Either it's a penalty or it's not. I don't know why it takes hours and hours for this coverage to come out, especially when it is when you're talking about a spot on the podium here or even the race winner. If it's a matter of who finished 14th or outside the points, then maybe it's not quite as much importance. But when it's the race winner that you're talking about, and all the photo shoots and all the glory of the podium ceremony and celebration that comes with that, I think it's got to be incredibly frustrating for everybody involved that the pictures that you took and the celebration that was had on that podium ends up not being accurate after all. I think that's an incredible source of frustration.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ben here. It's really, really frustrating for the fans and also for the racers themselves, celebrating a win and then later on being told hours later, not even just moments later, that, you didn't win it, you got this penalty. It's really frustrating and disappointing for the racers as well because they don't get to fully enjoy the place that they've won. And as Ben pointed out, this in this case, it was for who won the race. If it's for like the last two places, that people won't make as big a deal out of it. But for the fans, seeing the podium places being swapped because of a penalty that's delivered many hours after the race has finished is really frustrating. Um, and honestly, I don't really understand why in today's day and age where we have so much technology and you're able to see all the evidence and it's so much easier to decide the penalties, why it still takes hours for them to come out and why, you've got all this news spread out on social media and then later on you come back and you say that, oh, actually, the person we thought came in first place didn't actually come in first place. I think it's really frustrating for the fans, but even more so disappointing for the racers themselves.
Very disappointing, and especially as you said, the fans and then the racers sort of takes away that moment of first podium. Is really more, well, you got to win, but you didn't really get to stand at the top spot of the podium or have the bigger champagne bottle. Just very unfortunate.